Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Catalina Gillies. Thunder Bay's chief of police is responding to a scathing letter from the Police Association about low morale and the officers' lack of faith in the leadership of the force. Chief Sylvie Hout declined to speak on camera, instead releasing a statement to the media, association members, and the Police Services Board. Chief Hout says it's very clear to her how important it is to listen to the concerns and aspirations of police service members, and she wants officers to have the resources, tools, and support needed to serve the community. Those words were directly aimed at what was made public this weekend, that 81% of officers felt little or no support from senior management on current issues like rising crime rates. Hout points out the service's new strategic plan was created with input from officers, and it focuses on physical, mental, emotional, and cultural health. And she's committed to working together to make the police force better for the uniformed and other staff and the community. A costly price tag for a new city police headquarters isn't sitting right with Thunder Bay's mayor. Bill Morrow voiced his displeasure about the $56 million project at a virtual town hall meeting he hosted last night. A breakdown of the city's debentures was presented by the mayor to start the virtual meeting. A $45 million loan originally meant for seniors' homes is coming off the books in 2023, meaning an extra $4 million annually for city finances. Morrow also answered questions from the public on topics such as major infrastructure projects. The mayor mentioned his affinity for investing in soft amenities like arenas and provided a strong opinion on the lofty costs of a new police station.
I'm not sure that I'm supportive of a $56 million bill. I've been very clear about that in the conversations that we've had at the Police Services Board level. Obviously, that is a major ticket item. I think we can and need to look harder at other possible solutions there.
City Council will decide if they support the new police headquarters project in January and February during budget ratification. After a delay lasting more than a year, construction is about to begin on Thunder Bay's newest hotel. A large crane and other heavy equipment are now on site next to the Hampton Inn and Valhalla Inn on West Arthur Street. They're driving piles for the foundation of what will be a 6-story, 90-room hotel. The project received City Council approval in early 2020, and it was supposed to begin construction that spring. But like most things during the pandemic, the project was delayed. The owners of the Hampton Inn are building the new hotel next door. It will be a home to Suites by Hilton, a brand from the same parent company aimed at customers making longer stays. City planners have received a building permit application, but the permit has not yet been issued. Meanwhile, another hotel project on Arthur Street continues to see delays. Signs for the Motel 6 say it will be complete in August 2021, but so far the lot remains empty. Thunder Bay walkers, joggers, and cyclists are enjoying the new pedestrian crossing on the Boulevard Lake Dam. The $8.5 million project wrapped up last weekend, and officials with the company in charge of the big job say they're proud of how it turned out. Mitchell Ringos reports.
The new dam that started construction a year ago is finally complete. The dam has many features like a wider pedestrian walkway, night lighting for the deck and archways, while at the same time keeping the old dam alive by repurposing the stop logs and old monorail into a new observation deck. Project engineer Mike Murphy with local company Concrete Walls says they did have some challenges due to the old age of the dam. But of all the projects they've done, this was probably the most satisfying.
Project overall went really well for everybody. Us involved, the consultants worked well. The city, everyone did a great job, put a lot of man hours, a lot of effort into this, and the product turned out really well looking at it now.
Murphy says everyone he spoke to so far has loved the extra width on the deck and how it turned out overall. We spoke to a few people heading over the new walkway to get their opinions on the finished product.
I think it's very nice. It's a lot better, nice and wide. More spaced out, you know. Before it was like one way. Well, you have to wait for people to cross, you know. I think they did a good job.
Well, obviously the extra width of the dam going across it means a lot to people like me and other people that walk, run, or cycle here. So I think that alone is really important.
I can remember this bridge when I was a kid and used to live in Port Arthur in those days. This is like so much better, infinitely better, double the width.
I used to walk across here, and of course bicycles and hikers couldn't easily pass each other. And besides that, it's aesthetically very pleasant.
Murphy says the dam project is pretty much complete other than a few small details that are still coming in, which will not affect access to the pedestrian walkway.
There's a couple minor little connections in the electrical for the gates to fully operate, and then for the lights underneath the buttresses to lay up the underside of the dam will be completed. So there are LEDs for the city to change colors depending on the season. So coming up Christmas, they can go red, green if they really wanted to.
Mitchell Ringos, TBT News.
The Thunder Bay District Health Unit is reporting one new COVID-19 case today. It comes from the Thunder Bay area and is a close contact infection. There are still 15 active cases, the same number as on Tuesday. Over in the Northwestern Health Unit, there's a new infection in the Dryden Red Lake area. The NWHU now has 4 active cases. Ontario is offering COVID-19 vaccine booster shots to more people starting this week. As of Saturday, people 70 and older, healthcare workers, essential caregivers, those who received the AstraZeneca or Janssen vaccines, and Indigenous adults will be eligible to book appointments for 3rd vaccine shots. Eventually, all residents will be able to get a booster, but people with only 2 doses will still be considered fully vaccinated, according to the Chief Medical Officer of Health.
At present, though, because we are finding that at 5 to 7 months out after the second dose, we still, at a population level, have good, profound, and persistent protection. We are not mandating any change in the validation or certification process within Ontario. So 2 doses will be acceptable to be able to get you in to any of the venues that currently have any restrictions on them for vaccine certification validation.
Moore says he expects that COVID-19 will become an annual winter virus that he won't be able to escape, and as such, it makes sense to have the most protection. The Ford government also announced today that it will not mandate COVID vaccines for nurses and healthcare workers, despite months of pressure to do so. The province says there are high vaccination rates among hospital workers and that infection prevention and control measures are working. Less than 5% of Ontario's 141 hospital systems have had an active COVID-19 outbreak. Ontario is citing provinces like BC that implemented a vaccine mandate in hospitals and how it impacted surgeries and healthcare staffing. Here's what Health Minister Christine Elliott had to say.
Health and well-being of all Ontarians has been our priority, and it continues to be. And so it's the patients that we are protecting by having the employees tested frequently for COVID, but also for the thousands of patients who have been waiting for well over a year to have procedures done that are painful and debilitating, hips and knee replacements, cataract surgeries, and other surgeries. We want to make sure that we can move forward with that, because while it's terrible to lose someone from COVID, it's also terrible to lose someone from something that hasn't been diagnosed early enough or hasn't been operated on soon enough.
A man who participated in the kidnapping and beating of another man who he thought had information about his missing sister has now received a lengthy prison sentence. 30-year-old Andrew Otway is the brother of Alyssa Turnbull, the young woman who disappeared in Nipigon in early 2020. In September of that year, 4 men forcibly confined and assaulted a man in Nipigon and demanded info about Turnbull's disappearance. The victim was then put in the trunk of a car, but he managed to escape and call police. Otway pleaded guilty to kidnapping with a firearm and aggravated assault. And today the judge sentenced him to 6 years in jail, citing vigilantism and as a serious concern. The other 3 suspects have not yet heard their cases. Turnbull remains missing, with a $50,000 reward posted by the OPP. Roots to Harvest took another big step towards their $2 million plan to expand and become a community food center. Officials from Impala, Canada, which owns the Lactazil mine north of the city, announced the huge donation to the group today. Impala CEO Tim Hill says the company will provide $375,000 over a 5-year span. It's the largest corporate donation made to Roots to Harvest so far. Executive Director Aaron Beagle says that money gets them to around 80% of their fundraising goal to purchase and renovate the building they're renting on Fort William Road and create a community kitchen with a focus in traditional foods. Hill says Impala's donation is just the latest commitment to their ongoing partnership.
Part of the coalition or the group of mining companies that originally helped Roots to Harvest with the $80,000 donation. And we were very impressed with the work they were doing and the way they are building the community, supporting the community, and wanted to do more to help.
But we knew we needed this kind of investment in order to actually achieve all of our goals here. And so the investment covers, the purchase and the renovation, but also the programming that it takes to really amplify this work and the building. So to be within 20% of it is, it's a huge relief.
Roots to Harvest has received several large donations in the past few weeks for the big project, including $500,000 from the provincial government, $150,000 from the Carpenters Union Local 1669, and $100,000 from the Halfway Motors Trevisan Nuto family. Local MP Patty Hajdu is settling into her new role as Federal Minister of Indigenous Services and Minister responsible for FedNor. Hajdu was at Roots to Harvest today, attending her first public event in the city since last week's swearing-in ceremony. She spoke about her excitement and gratitude at being appointed to these new cabinet positions following nearly 2 years as Minister of Health. Hajdu says she hopes to become an agent of reconciliation and to help FedNor reflect what the community wants and needs. She says you can never know why the Prime Minister chooses specific roles, but she feels she has the experience and the drive to take those portfolios on.
He does know that I come from a background of working on reconciliation issues as the former executive director of Shelter House. In fact, 80% of the people that we served were Indigenous, and I worked with many Indigenous organizations and communities, as a matter of fact, to serve people the best that we possibly could. And I've also, in my previous work with the Thunder Bay District Health Unit, had a lot of intersection with Indigenous communities. It's something that's been near and dear to my heart and that I speak about often at the Cabinet table as a Northern Ontario Member of Parliament. So perhaps he saw in me a passion that he thought he could use in this work.
A gas line break led to a brief road closure on 11th Avenue. It happened at a nearby business. The road was closed near Memorial Avenue. A nearby building was also evacuated as a precaution while on-bridge gas crews dealt with the situation. Lakehead University is celebrating Diwali this week, a festival enjoyed for thousands of years by Hindus, Sikhs, and some Buddhists. Events are being held both online and in person. With the actual holiday coming up tomorrow, many students have displayed their rangoli, which are intricate artistic designs with cultural significance and meaning. In this case, they were made with colored rice. International student Numurata Rani says being able to take part in these cultural activities makes her feel right at home.
Felt so much happiness, because Lakehead University gives us a chance to represent our culture in front of other people, and we don't feel the homesickness, because in my home country we just usually made this kind of rangoli at home, so we got the chance to make here, and it would be a happy moment for us.
It made me feel that, yes, I am being welcomed. I am feeling that this is a diverse culture I'm working in. And as a student as well, when you study at Lakehead University, I think there are a lot of cultural activities at Lakehead University. People are getting to, come forward and share their culture, and because that's the meaning of being at the international university, right?
Members of the Lakehead community can also go online to vote for their favorite rangoli made by a Lakehead student or to learn more about the festival. Well, Fiona, was another cool start to the day.
Yes, first thing this morning, -5 is the temperature we had, although the wind chill wasn't as bad as it could have been. Winds have been fairly light overnight and throughout the day, about 5 to 12 kilometers per hour. The good news is it was coming from the southwest, but all in all, it was a pretty cloudy day. If we take a look at what's happening across the region right at this hour, we are currently just a degree below our high at 2. 5 in Fort Frances with loads of sunshine. Temperatures holding fairly steady into Kenora and Dryden at 4, Red Lake also at 4. Although under mostly cloudy skies, then it gets a little bit cooler, starting to sink towards the freezing mark in Pickle Lake and Armstrong, right on the goose egg. Greenstone slipping below the freezing mark. They've had a few periods of light flurries throughout the afternoon. Marathon also sitting on the freezing mark, and Sault Ste. Marie also seeing light flurries for much of the day, kind of off and on, with currently they are at a high of 2 Celsius. That's as warm as it's really gotten all day. Tonight, we will be back below the freezing mark at -3, although it could feel closer to -10 by the time you get up in the morning. However, Mother Nature is going to give us a bit of a break. It's been a cool start, but things are looking to warm up for the second half of the work week and into the weekend. I'll have more details later on in the news hour.
Thanks for that, Fiona. Well, kids age 5 to 11 have begun receiving COVID-19 vaccines over in the United States. We'll have more details later on.
8 million American children now able to get the COVID-19 vaccine.